Hello and welcome into the game presented by IBDO. Julie Donaldson here with you along with Santana and our insider, Zach Selby. Okay, gentlemen, it's come to an end. This wild season of 2020 is over as we fell to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the wild card game. Let's start off with your quick reactions here, your unfiltered reactions that would be, Santana.
You know what? Despite our outcome, I went home smiling, honestly. I was proud to see this team go out and fight the way they did. So, it's never no moral victories in this sport. But these guys went out there and laid it on the line and made a statement, I believe, that night.
Yeah, I mean, it's really unfortunate. A lot of the same issues that they had earlier this year kind of came back a little bit, but I mean, the team fought to the very end, and it just shows how far this team has come since week one. And they went toe-to-toe with Brady and the Bucs and nearly won.
Tampa Bay coming into it, they said should they have lost that game, that they thought their season was a loss. I think it's the complete opposite for Washington because nobody expected us to be there. There are so many storylines of things that seemed almost impossible that took place, such as Alex Smith coming in and leading us to the playoffs. But unfortunately, he was not able to go. So again, nobody saw this coming either, that it was Taylor Heinicke that was going to be leading the way. And boy, he did a job that nobody expected. So let's break that down. Here is this week's Read Progression is presented by FedEx. So Heinicke comes in, he was on the street, the emergency quarterback, taking classes at ODU, and he put up quite a performance. Santana, let's talk just a little bit about what he did. He put up over 300 yards. How in the world was he able to do this when he had come in so late in the game trying to get used to the offense, the scheme, and the players?
Well, it's all about preparation meeting opportunity. He spoke about it after the game that, while he was home, studying for classes, he was also training. And one of the playbooks that he trained, under is that particular playbook, knowing that he played just a couple of months ago, with the Carolina Panthers. So he knew the offense pretty well, and he made sure he went through those, progressions and things like that while he was sitting around the house getting that work in. He's a baller. He told Chase Young the first time he got on the field that, hey, this is what I do. I love doing this. And he showed us that in the playoffs, that if we can call on him, then he's going to go out there and put up a kind of performance that he did.
Zach, you think he earned a spot to compete for a role on this roster next season?
Oh, 100%. I mean, you don't do what he did and just go out and go back on the street and go finish your finals over at ODU. I mean, now there's a lot of questions about the quarterback position going into next year. Ron Rivera said that's a priority for this team heading into the offseason, but I think he's definitely earned the right to be in that conversation, at least a training camp.
Well, just as Taylor Heinicke was able to take control of the play and make adjustments, you have options with your shipments. Use FedEx Delivery Manager to help you take more control over your residential deliveries. A lot of guys also on that team kind of had some good performances. Santana, let me get your thoughts on Cam Sims.
Cam Sims went out there and played lights out. I was just, going back and forth with him in our DMs on IG, just telling him that he had a great game and that he needed to get his rest. And by the time this Super Bowl and stuff is over with, he needed to be back into that, that weight room and getting on his grind. And, one of the things he said was like, thanks, OG, but I feel like we could have played a lot better. And I told him, this game, you're going to learn a lot about yourself every game. Every week out, you get a chance to learn a lot about yourself. So I say, take what he learned, you can't go backwards, and let's move forward.
So let's go to the defense. Santana, let me get your thoughts. It's been the strength of this team, but they gave up 31 points to Tom Brady and company. What can we take away from their performance in this final game?
I mean, we could take a lot away. I think we know going into that game that if we allow Tom to be Tom, meaning that he had enough, time in that pocket, he can slice and dice us up. I do believe that it was times when he had an opportunity, but we corralled him enough to make him uncomfortable at times, and he had to get rid of the ball when he didn't want to. Yes, they put up points. We understood, a long time ago that our defense had a problem with covering tight ends. But when you look at the bright side, Deron Payne had a nice performance. Sweat, kept putting pressure. And that's the bright side I take from the game.
You know, there are many areas that we can still improve upon, but it's a good foundation to build off. So there will be a lot of work this offseason on what additions we need to make, what positions we'll have some good competition at going forward. Those are conversations for another day because it's, I say a long offseason, but I have a feeling it goes by pretty quickly with the dates coming up. Let's now get to the stat of the game. Selby stat of the game presented by IBDO. Go, Zach.
Yeah, you know, we talked a little bit about some of the undrafted younger guys, but I mean, this has really been the key, pieces to a Ron Rivera squad and Washington squad for the past couple of years. And Cam Sands, like we talked about, ended the night with 104 yards. He's the third undrafted rookie to do that in franchise history in a playoff game. Steven Sims Jr. had that touchdown in the fourth quarter that put Washington down one score. He's ninth. He's the ninth undrafted receiver to record a touchdown in franchise history in a playoff game. And then Jeremy Reeves, I mean, a guy that Ron Rivera advocated for earlier this year. He had a forced fumble, and he's just the second undrafted guy in franchise history to record that in a playoff game. So one hallmark of historically great teams like New England and Kansas City is that they find lower talent, they find lower round undrafted talent, you know, later in the draft and even after that. But Washington has some ways to go before they're at that point. But I mean, they can at least check that category off the box.
All right, when we come back, what's next? What can we build on? What does Washington look for? Keep it right here on The Game, presented by BDO.
I'm stoked! Let's do this! Whoa! This is amazing! I know, right? Yeah! These new extreme scratch-offs! They're insane! Wait, what? Dude, $100 million in instant cash! Tons of $100,000 top prizes! Awesome! Let me see those! Oh, man! Hold on, I'll go get them!
Take it to the extreme. Play new Extreme Scratch-Offs from the Maryland Lottery and play safely and responsibly.
Now more than ever, it's important to have an SUV you can trust. From reliability to value, shop Toyota. Check out a RAV4, named a Best Family Car of 2020 from Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com. And lease an LE for only $239 a month. Or buy a RAV with $1,000 cash back. Or go with a Highlander named Best Resale Value in its class by KBB.com and get up to $1,500 cash back. For reliability and value, trust Toyota.
DC has a home for the greatest hits of all time.
That would be Michael Jackson for me.
DC's greatest hits
Madonna,
Billy Idol,
live here.
Cyndi Lauper,
Bon Jovi,
94.7
Blondie, The Eagles,
The Drive.
Probably getting drafted was probably my favorite football memory, only because nobody can really prepare you for the draft and how it goes. And, you know, there's mock drafts, there's projections, and, you know, for the first time, somebody's choosing you. When you go to college, you get to choose what school you get to go to. High school, you get to choose what school you go to. But the draft is you try to do everything that you can to make yourself stand out and to be worthy and to be drafted by an organization and finally get your name called, whether it's you're the first pick or you're the last pick, you're an undrafted guy, just to hear your name called and see that you'll be playing in the NFL is a surreal feeling. And then I was lucky enough to have my family and my friends along with me that night, and just that genuine feeling. I don't cry too much, but that night I cried because it's just a culmination of so many just prayers and hard work and sacrifices by countless people, not just myself, to get yourself to this day. And when it finally comes, you're just so appreciative. So the day I got drafted is something I'll probably never forget.
And that was Terry McLaurin with his favorite football memory, presented by Comcast Xfinity. Okay, gentlemen, 2020 is in the books. It is officially 2021, a new year. And now that we know what we have on this team, we saw a lot of growth from the young guys. The big questions will be, what do we do in free agency? What do we do with the players that are free agents? And what do we target? Who do we target in the draft? So Santana, a lot to build upon, but a lot of positives that we probably might not have known with this team because of the playing time that they did get and the opportunities to step up. So here we go. Let's kind of see from you first off. What would you say are the biggest free agent priorities on this team that they need to make sure they bring back?
I think one of the biggest one would be Brandon Sheriff. I think he had another great season. He's a guy, if we have enough in our bank to pay him, we need to find a way to do so. You don't want to find yourself in a situation where you give a guy like that up who you can depend on to try to find another guy who's out there who's probably capable. We have a homegrown guy that's been here a while now, and he put up another Pro Bowl season, and he's played pretty well. So he's a guy that I would think about, knowing that we're going to always need to protect our quarterback regardless of who's back there.
Zach, where else would you go?
I'm going to go with Ronald Darby, honestly, because he's a guy who came in, you didn't really know what to expect of him. He had an injury history, even though he was really good in his rookie year with the Buffalo Bills. But then he comes on, he filled in really nicely in that number 2 corner spot opposite of Kendall Fuller, and they worked really well together. They actually led the league in PBUs in the regular season, which is the best. I think they had 27, which is the best of any quarterback duo in the league. And I think he alone he led the team, led the league in incompletions. It looks like he's got that injury bug shaking off his shoulder, and I think he's definitely earned another contract with the team.
I think there's about 14 free agents this team is going to have to make decisions on. Let me ask about this one player, though. Meant so much to this franchise, spent 10 years with this franchise. We saw him after the game walking onto the field, kind of taking it all in. But his future might be uncertain here. Santana, what do you make of Ryan Kerrigan?
You know how much I feel about Ryan, and he's been one of my better teammates that I play with. I have a handful of guys that I can say that about, and he's one of them. And he's been a great asset to this team for a long time. But if you want to look at the big picture of things, Ryan wasn't pleased with his play this year. He wanted more reps. I think the best thing would be to do is to let him go and see where he can find those reps at. Now, I would love to see him back because I know, you need depth at that position, and he would be a great fill-in if you want to get one of those guys out or get those guys a breather. But when he wants to still go out there and be productive, I think the best bet for him would be to go on because I don't see him having those same opportunities here.
Zach, a lot of uncertainty, though, at quarterback. What are we going to do with Alex Smith? Does he want to keep playing? Does he want to be here? Kyle Allen, how healthy will he be? And we know that they have faith in him knowing the system. And then Taylor Heinicke comes on in here and says, wait a second, you got to pay attention to me. Or could it possibly be a guy that's not even out here? What do we make of the quarterback situation?
Well, it's definitely as jumbled up as Ron Barrett said it was a few weeks ago, because you have all these options. Honestly, you don't want to get rid of Alex. He's been really good, 5-1 as a starter this year. But you don't really know what his path is going to be. He may even retire this year. And if they really want to go for a different guy, I'm a fan of drafting him. And I think even, if you look at what the Kansas City Chiefs did when they got Mahomes, they didn't just wait and rest on the laurels and wait for Mahomes to fall to him. They went up and got it. They traded up to go get him, and when they figured out that Alex, didn't get into the playoffs back then. So I think that drafting a quarterback, let him be the guy of the future is the route that I would take. But also there's some really good free agent options out there at quarterback as well. So we'll just have to see. For me, I say you draft a guy, let him be the guy for the next 5 years.
Santana, what positions do you think this team should go and target in free agency in the draft?
Secondary. We're gonna need that. We're gonna need some guys, even if we don't get guys to replace the 2 guys that we had at corner. We definitely need a safety, and it's gonna be hard to move a guy like Cam Curl from the starting safety position now, when Landon gets healthy. So that's going to be an interesting thing, seeing how that pans out. Maybe Landon comes down and play more of a linebacker position. Who knows? I've been saying that he fits the mold, but I do believe that we need more guys that we can depend on in one-on-one matchups. So at the cornerback position.
Lots of questions to remain as we begin officially the off-season, which means we will have more of the game this off-season. That's going to do it, though, for this episode presented by BDO. You, of course, can find us on our website and on YouTube. Make you subscribe, like it, and leave your comments and questions that you want us to answer as we do work our way through the off-season as 2021 is officially here. For Santana Moss, Zach Selby, I'm Julie Donaldson. Appreciate you watching, everybody.
Don't let the comfort fool you. Don't let the attention to detail lead you to believe that a Honda is a delicate machine. You'd be wrong. Underneath every surface that carries a Honda badge, there has always been the capacity to amaze. From the core of everything we have ever built, all the way to the top of where you want to go. Rise to the challenge with the rugged performance of the Honda Pilot, Passport, and Ridgeline.
The landscape has changed, and not for the last time. The rules of business are being reinvented with a more flexible workforce, by embracing innovation, by looking not only at current opportunities, but ahead to future ones. Resilience is the ability to pivot again and again for whatever happens next.
People who know BDO.
DC has a home for the greatest hits of all time.
That would be Michael Jackson for me.
DC's greatest hits.
Madonna.
Billy Idol.
Live here.
Cyndi Lauper.
Bon Jovi.
94.7.
Blondie.
The Eagles.
The Drive.
I'm stoked! Let's do this! Whoa! This is amazing! I know, right? Yeah! These new extreme scratch-offs! They're insane! Wait, what? Dude, $100 million in instant cash! Tons of $100,000 top prizes! Awesome! Let me see those! Oh, man! Hold on, I'll go get them!
Take it to the extreme. Play new Extreme Scratch Offs from the Maryland Lottery and play safely and responsibly.
I choose VA because they made me whole again.
I choose the VA because the VA cares.
I choose the VA because they provide seamless care through all stages of life.
I choose VA because it helped me with my PTSD.
I choose the VA because they make me feel important.
I choose VA because they've saved my life.
I choose VA because I'm a veteran and I enjoy serving veterans.
Choose VA today. For more information, visit va.gov.
This winter, be confident in a rugged all-wheel drive Honda SUV. Take control with the reliable CR-V, the versatile HR-V, the 8-passenger Pilot, or the adventurous Passport, with features like Honda Sensing, magic folding seats, in 3 different driving modes. Now is the best time to buy. Don't miss your chance to get a great deal on your favorite Honda SUV. See your local Honda dealer and take on winter today.